it's new bike day. Nothing compares to new bike day. It is just so exciting to get on your new bike and just want to ride it. But there's two very important things to do when you get your new bike, and number one is to bed in your brakes, and number two is to set up your suspension. You probably want to do your suspension when you come out of the store or when you finish building your bike, and in most stores they should help you set up at least the minimal sag. But once you get riding, you will, and once the suspension starts bedding in, you will feel that maybe you want to put a little bit more air in it, a little bit less air in it. You might want to fiddle around with all the compression and rebound, dampening, all of that. You might want to play around with, mess around with, but that's when you're on the trails you can do that. So what I have got with me today is my trusty shock pump, so I can set up my suspension as I ride. But most importantly, before I start riding, I am going to bed in my brakes. So how I'm going to do that is, there's a little hill just over there, so I'm just going to go, well, I'm going to go quite fast. I'm going to pedal into it because it's not a really steep hill, so I'm just going to pedal into it, gently put my brakes on, pull them, not lock them on straight away, pull them for a little while, about 5 to 6 seconds, no longer than that, and then lock them in, come to a full stop. And that way you're going to get heat into your discs and pads, and that will bed them in. So you want to do that maybe 10 times until you feel that you're getting a good bite out of your brakes. So I'm just going to do a demonstration of how you can achieve this, and then and then afterwards all you're going to do is enjoy your ride. So yeah, new bike, so excited. That should do it. Better. So to set up suspension while you're on the trails, you got these little rubber rings, and what I usually do is I move this back to the top at the beginning of the trail. And I've been to Twisted Oaks before, so I know roughly how heavy the trails are, so I know roughly how much travel I'm going to be using on my other bikes, and I know what is comfortable, so I just sort of see how much travel I'm using. And I don't want to, so you can see, don't know if you can see the oil marks on it, but I don't want to go into this last little bit here where my finger is now. So for the forks, unfortunately these ones, they're the Recon, and they don't have the rings on them, so I'm just going to have to look for the dust pattern. So as you can see, there's some dust going up, and once again, I probably don't want to be using the last about this much of my suspension, because that would mean I'm bottoming out. So I'm gonna go take her down some trails and see how things feel, and then obviously if I feel like it's too much of a pogo stick, I could always slow down the rebound using this red dial here. And also if I find that my forks are the pogo stick, then I can slow it down using, it's just under here, and I twist it to the right. So yeah, and now the brakes are bedded in, so I should have a little bit more braking power going down these trails. So let's go and ride some trails. Oh god. Oh wow. I did not remember that. Okay, so went down a couple of trails and I found that the rebound and that is absolutely fine on the rear shock. However, I feel like I need a little bit more air in it. Make sure you hold on to these little things, put it in a pocket, because I feel like I'm using a little bit too much travel. So I am just going to put my trusted shock pump on it and just put a tiny little bit of air on it, in it. So it's 125 psi. I'm going to put it up to 130. I'm going to put 133 in because you're going to lose a little bit when you're taking the pump off. So yeah, should do 135, and then you'll hear the psst sound when it comes off. And then yep, we lost on average about 5 psi. So it's always good to contingency plan. So right, so now after putting the air in, I'm just going to move the ring back up to the top. There we go. And also don't worry if you got a little bit of oil coming out of your shocks. Sorry, your shock and your forks, because when they're new there's a lot of oil in it, and when you first start using it, sometimes that oil comes up and out. So don't be alarmed if you see some oil coming out of it, but there is a limit. So if it's flooding oil out everywhere and your suspension feels sluggish or horrible, it doesn't matter what settings you're using, it just feels horrible and sluggish, then you want to go see a mechanic. But if it's just oil, just a little bit of oil around the seal, then that's absolutely fine, nothing to worry about. Right, so going down the same trail again, see how the suspension feels now. Oh, that was much better. Oh, bike feels just so good. Oh, it's amazing. Right, so to test out the suspension, really give the suspension a good test. I brought it over to the drop zone here at Twisted Oaks. So we are going to do the drops, and then we're going to investigate our lovely dust dial, and also I'm going to move the red rubber O-ring to the top so we can see exactly how much travel we're using. So after that run, as you can see, the shock, the travel feels amazing. The fork, I think I could lose a couple of psi. I'm just going to go up top and do that, and then drop in again like the pun there, and then we shall see how it's performing. Right, so to get access to the air, it's the one on the left side, so I'm just going to attach my shock pump. Okay. So it's 103 psi. I'm going to take it down to 95, I reckon. Actually, I'm gonna leave it at 100 because about roughly 5 psi will come out when I take it off. So it's on 100. Okay, so let's test her out. So, even without looking at the dust pattern, I can tell you that it felt a lot smoother on my arm, and I have broken my arm very recently in January, so for me that is definitely a bonus. But it has used, I think, a little bit more travel than before, so rear shock, I'm just gonna just back on the top because I forgot to last time. But yeah, sorry about the hairs. So yeah, so far I think we are getting there. We're definitely getting there. I think with the -5 psi it feels a lot better, so the forks do. And what I also noticed, that these levers actually, I think, have a reach adjust just here, so I'm going to venture back to the van and look for a, I think it's a 2mm, maybe 2mm Allen key, and see if I can reach adjust it, because it's a bit far for me. So it's all about the little tweaks when you get your new bike. So got my trusty Allen key set and found the reach adjust. I'm just going to Alright, so talking about little tweaks, I found that now I've adjusted my brakes, it keeps hitting my finger every time I brake, so I'm going to just move the it's on the other side, isn't it? I'm just going to move the levers in a little bit more because I want to avoid hitting my finger. Seems alright. Yeah, seems good. But then again, I am taking the Allen keys with me because I feel like there's more adjustments need to be made. Nicely into the puddle. Yay! nice train. Oh, that was a big case. Jesus Christ. But didn't bottom out. More speed. So much more speed. The whole day pretty much setting this bike up how I'd want to ride it. The suspension is now pretty much perfect. There might need to be a few little tweaks here and there, but apart from that, even the levers have been adjusted, and the position of the drop post and shifters. I forgot to mention that make sure you do have a multi-tool with you before you set off into the trails to set up your new bike. And yeah, all I've got left to do is retune the gears once I get home, because probably they'll have a little bit of cable stretch, and I could just about hear the chain making that noise, you know, when you know the cable has stretched, so it's time to adjust them. So yeah, before the rain starts to get even worse, I am going to go for a good ride. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, leave a comment, any questions, or if you got any tips on how you set up your bike, let me know in the comments. Get social. And yeah, this was filmed at Twisted Oaks, and also the Tektro brakes are actually pretty amazing. So, and also on the fork it says it's a 150 travel, not a 140mm travel, so I am very sorry about that. On the website it does say 140mm travel, so that is my bad. Without further ado, I am off to the trails. See you later.